Alright, g'day guys. Welcome back. COVID edition, doing a live stream. How is everyone? My voice still sounds a little bit cooked, to be honest. But I'm feeling a lot better. Hence the beers. Yeah, how's everyone going? It's been a while. A long time since we've done a stream. Sorry, a little bit late as well. I was cooking pies for dinner and then I kind of decided I'm not really hungry, so they're just sitting out there. So we'll see how that goes. How are we going audio-wise and all that? Yeah, I hope it's coming out all right. G'day, J-Dodd. It has been a while. G'day, Rogue Riot. Sam Marcy. Pat Kaz. Welcome, mate. Thanks, mate. Good to see you back here as well. Appreciate it. I thought tonight would be a pretty good game, so hopefully it lives up. Rowbottom with the first goal. 7 plays zip. I'm trying to get the scoreboard working here, and it is giving me absolute donuts. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. Drewsy's here. He says he's the Senate. Hello, mate. Swan goal indeed. Pat Cass says, I see you've employed my strategy of getting over COVID by getting on the beers. Yeah, I had like 6 beers last night. And I don't know, like, it's not so often that I drink when sick, but I do remember it happening a few times now where if I'm sick and I drink, like, I don't know, like 6 beers is enough to make you feel a bit tingly, right? Like, everyone feels 6 beers. Particularly, what are these? 1.2 standards. So you're well past the point of being able to drive. But I just felt nothing. I felt weird. I didn't feel good, but I just felt almost like my body, like the sickness was overpowering the drunkenness. I just felt like sober. It was really strange. But I woke up alright, so that's all that matters. I did have a bad feeling I was going to like set myself back. I have a bad habit of treating my body like shit when I'm sick. Like my diet goes out the window. Obviously don't go to the gym or exercise or anything, not that you should be. Regardless of whether it's COVID, it's not a good idea. But yeah, now adding beers to the mix wasn't smart. Waitman's lining up here. It's going to drift to the right. Druzy said deleting beers on a steam. That is hot, yes. So hot that it turns water into vapor. Alcohol heats your body temp up. Does it? That makes sense. Yeah. I can't see how that would help, but I had the horrible fever the first couple of days. Oh my God. By the end of day 3, I was feeling alright. I sound a bit gross. I'm about 95% normal now, which is more than I usually am. Oh, thank you, Chris. Good to have you back. Rogue Right says you haven't got COVID yet. Oh, that's good. I thought I'd be one of the last people, but somehow I just got it out of nowhere. Like, I went to Drewsy's 21st on Saturday, and I'm still not even 100% sure I got it from there. That would make sense. But it would have only been like 48 hours. No, not even, like 36 hours after I got there. So it's possible I got it somewhere earlier, which means it's random. I don't do anything. G'day, Zany boy. I'm good. How are you? Thanks, Rogue Riot. Yes, it's been a dream come true to crack the debut this weekend. I've actually got Carmichael on my fantasy bench, so hopefully he goes all right. I do still have COVID, Sam. Yeah, I'm feeling much better. I've still got about 3 days before I can leave the house. But yeah, in terms of the illness, yeah, that kind of subsided last night. I am not in Europe, Zany boy. No, I'm leaving in about 3 weeks, actually. Thanks, Nyasha. Good to see you too, mate. Yeah, I think J-Dodd, I think that American accent might be my influence on Drew, so I'll be interested to see if he ever spoke like that before I met him. yeah, Carmichael's a good chance to at least get a few touches, so a solid option. The disrespect to not read my Star Wars quote. Sorry, I saw it. There's got to be Palpatine. We've started this thing where I don't even know how to explain it other than to simply say that we just quote Emperor Palpatine with no context constantly now. You had to be there. Druzy with the YouTube tips. Thanks, mate. I'll do that. I'll be sure to do that. Yeah, well, carrier pigeons are probably pretty quick. In a 100-metre sprint, I reckon it would have me covered. Yeah, I wonder what's the deal with Oliver. He's my fantasy captain, so... Another goal to Sydney. He's my fantasy captain, so... hoping he's not out for a while. Who's everyone tipped, by the way? Because I have tipped Sydney. Thanks, you cat. Welcome, mate. How are ya? What was I going to say? What about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I've only had 1.5 beers. We'll see how many niche Palpatine quotes I can get. At Druzy's 21st, I was reaching into like the depths of the script and coming up with some of the really forgettable lines. I'm definitely undiagnosed with something. Wasn't just me with a Mills fantasy captain. Oh my god, man. I traded him in last week. I was like, fuck yeah, Mills. He's not going to flop. I didn't make him captain though. 54. Oh, that sucked, Drizzy. $10. The waiter was very nice. Treating my body very nicely with COVID. Is that Darcy? It looked like Darcy's mullet. Riley West finds Shacky. Oh! The Love Shack. Shanks it. I agree, Druck. I'm going to call you Druck. Yeah, they're a bloody good team. It was a very good performance last night. They were in control for all 4 quarters, I thought. I considered streaming, but I just didn't quite get up for it. I'll see how it goes. Tonight goes all right. I'll do the Eagles game this weekend. I might even do a Saturday one because I literally have fuck all else to do. I'm so bored, eh? I'm incredibly bored. I was like crawling the walls. So I went into ISO Monday morning, and by Tuesday night, I was like, I'm ready to get out of this house. I didn't, obviously. Do it. How am I doing the tippings? I am 102nd or 112th? 112th, I think. What about you, Nyasha? Thanks for being here, by the way, guys. I know I put this stream up like 5 minutes before I actually hit play, if that. Blakey inside 50. Buddy, uh-oh. Dangerous in that range. It's missed. Still no scoreboard. It's just a typical True Footy stream, eh? Vapes. Farts. No scoreboard. COVID. You know, 400 Nyasha. Yeah, fair enough. That's not bad. They're still above average. That's above half. Trees. Yeah, I've unlocked the Palpatine themed ones, so We'll see. Good question, Drews. I don't know if that is on KO. I'd be interested in watching that. Do you know what time it is? Oh, damn, Druck. Yeah. I missed the Eagles-Essendon game because of work, and I'm going to obviously miss Sunday because I'm in ISO. As Swans get their third goal. And then I'm going to Europe for August. I realise I think I'm only going to see the Eagles and Saints game. Or Crows. Must be the Saints. I think it's the Eagles and Saints the only game I'm going to see for the rest of the year. Which sucks. Like Mike says, how are you, mate? Good, mate. How are you? Good to see you. Thoughts on the Lions sadly losing 7 or so core players? I didn't even hear that. What? I've had my head in the sand. No, I'm slowly been warming back up to footy. This is my second upload this week. I completely missed that. So who's out? That's cooked. For the record, I don't think it'll just be Brisbane if that's the case, because I think this second wave of COVID is definitely happening. Hey Kev, hey, good mate, how are you? So the Dogs really need a response here. Should have got a live ladder up. So Buddy lining up for number 4 for the Swans. They're currently 5th on the live ladder. Not that that means much. And the Dogs could be 2 games out of the 8 if they lose this game. And that will make it very tight. Very tough for them. Not a True Footy stream without the most attractive AFL players or Pokemon. Yeah. And the weird thing is I'm a straight male who doesn't like Pokemon. We cater to all audiences though. He's nailed it. God, Swans are all over him. I'm good, thank you, Fearless Nick. How are you? AFL Demand. How do you watch that? Is that on the AFL website? I forget. 12:30 Adelaide time, Drews. Yeah. See, do you have it in the local time of Bogota so I can convert it to Western Australia? Or Lisbon, perhaps? Got a new watch, Kev. Nice one. Is it dope? Coleman, McStay, Andrews, Archie, Richie, Zorks, Berry through injury. Ouch. That's fucked. And who you got this week? Is it a tough game? I forget. I did just do my tipping video, but it is easy to forget. Brisbane are at home. Yeah, I guess that's I should still be alright, but it's a blow. So one of the first times I feel like this Brisbane group would have really been challenged by availability. Haney's got another one, and it's 5 goals to nothing. Sorry, Drews. How's the depression, buddy? The Dogs can be a stinky side. Yeah, if they drop this, I reckon they're it'll be tough to make the 8. Like, how many games are we going to have after this? 5? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I guess 6 games after this. But to make up 2 games on a group of teams that is fairly strong, in my opinion, this is a must-win. So who's the clearance now? Oh, no one's credited with a clearance because it wasn't effective, but the Swans get the ball forward. Gonna go ham on my own things for the next 5 months. Man, wanking for 5 months is not a good life strategy, but I'll back you in, mate. Are you give the chat a preview, Drews? Not about the masturbation, but the own things. Here we go. The Dogs finally. Oh, McRae just skews it inboard, but there wasn't really anyone there. And Rampy clears the ball. Hang on. Keith. VFL tier players unearthed and one debutant. That's cool. Let's have a look at the teams actually for Brisbane. I think Harry Shark came back in because I put him on my bench. Because I just did 2 downgrades this week. I sound like shit. Waitman. Wow, that's a good goal. Waitman gets a very much needed goal. Is Carter Michael the debutant, I'm guessing? Yeah, it is. Still a pretty strong team. Well, still definitely a strong team. It's the key backs probably. So you got Payne, played 20 games, and then Marcus Adams, a good player but not necessarily a key. Then again, you're only playing Essendon, who have obviously Stringer, not a true key, but Peter Wright. So Peter Wright for any team is a handful. He's just a good player, really good player. Big announcement coming soon. A Patreon podcast with Sean. So it's 32-7 if anyone can't see the score. Dogs fixture doesn't get easier from here. Let's have a little gander. They got the Saints, they got the D's, they got the Cats. Oh my god. So that's the next 3. Then they got Fremantle. So 4 very good teams there. GWS and Hawthorn to finish it, but you think they could well and truly ruin their season in the next month. And, you know, include a tough opponent today in Sydney. Tipping West Coast to beat Carlton, Kev. Big call. I was thinking this, actually. We're probably a good matchup for them in the sense that their scoring from stoppages and clearances and stuff is their strength, and they got us at a bad time because Nick Nat's just come back and can probably nullify their midfield dominance. Obviously, around the ground, Carlton are still better, but the way they score is generally from stoppages and stuff. So I don't know. I think we'll be a tough opponent for them, to be honest. I'm not tipping us though, particularly in the wet. But the way we're playing, if we have Carlton on an off day, we'll win. It's just whether... But if Carlton, come to play, they're obviously going to win easy. Which I think is more likely. Yeah, fair enough, Rogue, right? Do you have less trades at the end of the year in Supercoach, do you? Who would you rather, Papley or Waitman? Or haven't paid that much attention to Papley this year, but I think Papley is a better player. And Waitman's a lot younger. Thought about tipping West Coast, but Wiedering is a big in for the Blues. Yep. True. Good player. We don't really have any really dangerous key forwards. Like, Kennedy can be dangerous on his day, but he's 35 years old. Gonna be a wet game, though. "2014 was the last time Carlton beat West Coast." I did not know that. That's stunning. I think that'll come to an end, unfortunately, but interesting. 8-year streak is still a long time. In Supercoach, you have 35 trades for the entire year. Yeah, right. Interesting. That's cool. That's a cool rule, actually. So at the end of the year, you really only have like 4 to 5 left as a maximum. Yeah, tricky. 35 is not a lot. I just realised that's only like 1.5 per. Yeah, it's 1.5 per round. Ouch. So you're really sort of picking as though it's almost like draft. Oh, behind. Far out. It's 40 plays 7. I don't even remember the last Sydney goal. Been gas bagging away. Thanks, Drews. I hope we win too. Dogs look very Stanko. They do. James Stanko. They don't look like a side that's going to be playing finals, do they? But you go back to 16 and 21, and late in the season, both times those years, you just thought, geez, this side is average. And I don't think they'll make a grand final, but they are capable of just like turning into a good side randomly. I wonder why they've fallen off. Oh, bad mistake there from, was it McCartan? Oh, row bottom with a crunch. Gee, Golden is a good player, eh? G'day, Tay. Sorry, I've just seen that. That's funny. Yeah, I know. Thankfully, I've got a job at the moment where there's no haircut standards. I probably do actually have the worst haircut at work, though, to be honest. I think I do, which is saying something for Bunnings. I do remember someone having a skullet once. But yeah, right now I think everyone's got pretty standard haircuts. The scoreboard is going wild. Who's better, Waitman or Ginnivan? I'd say Waitman, to be honest. Dogs might be the most disappointing team this year. Yeah, I think yeah, if you make a grand final last year and then fail to make the finals, which it appears like it's going that way, then yeah, clear contender. Right up there with Port, I'd say. I think Richmond are a very good side, Captain LF. Very good side. Their win over... Sorry, the fact they nearly beat Geelong looks even better now in hindsight. Considering Geelong just easily disposed of Melbourne. Not easily, but in total control, I would say. Yeah, she reckons the Dogs rely on Norton and Bont and they don't have a key back. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they've just got O'Brien and Keith sort of back there. Good grab by Norton. Still a lot of upside. They're still a pretty young team when you consider like how many high draft picks have come into their list. How many players are still in their prime or approaching their prime? They'll be sweet. Dogs lose by 100, you reckon, Fearless? Nah, I don't think Sydney will put them away that much. Yeah, Henderson's lining up for a goal, so this will bring it back to a measly 28. Rogue Wright says the midfield can't cover for either end of the ground for the Dogs. Yeah, fair point. Let's have a look at some stats. Oh, so Callum Mills, 38, most points on ground. That's fantastic. He's already almost at what he got last week. Tay says he's blown away by how much the Swans are dominating the coalface. Yeah, it's 10 clearances to 4. When in theory, the Dogs should be a very strong clearance side. Certainly a midfield heavy side. Only 5 more inside 50s though. They've just been a lot more clinical. Oh, Parker with an incredible clearance there. Oh, Papley. Is that Warner? Warner's got it. The instant reply. Boy, oh boy. 7 goals, 5, and it's 4 minutes to go in the first. Druzy doesn't rate their best 22. Harsh. I rate their best 22. It's just not balanced. In terms of a defensive unit, it's not that strong, and forward line probably lacks options as well. But I mean, that midfield is still very, very good. I think Nyasha asked before, could Chad Warner come back to West Coast? I don't know, it's hard to imagine. Sydney, I don't feel like really lose too many players, particularly to Perth. I don't remember if we've ever recruited someone from Sydney. But also, he's got his brother there, seems pretty happy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's no chance. Mills with another handball, you beauty. Oh, Tay also asked, West Coast would have to make a play for Warner at some point. Yeah, I mean, I agree. We should ask the question. Definitely. Whether or not he'd be interested, I don't know. Sydney would be a great club to play for. Great city, strong culture, successful. Always a chance of winning your flag. I mean, you could sort of make the arguments about West Coast in the same way, but obviously right now falling off a cliff, so it's not an attractive time to play for West Coast. That being said, coming home is just so important to some players. Like, look at Luke Jackson. Why the hell would he want to leave Melbourne? I mean, yes, Fremantle are looking pretty good at the moment, but Melbourne are potentially... I think there's a potential for them to have a dynasty. And he's only been there 4 years. 3 years, isn't it? Wait. Yeah, 3 seasons. This is his 3rd season. Oh, Lewis Jetta was from Sydney. Yep, good point. How did I forget that one? Good point, Chris. Where do you think Jackson will be next year is a great question. I mean, you can only really just go off, as Papley kicks it behind, you can only really go off like the narrative of what's in the news right now, and it does seem to be like WA. Some mixed rumours about, like on one article you hear, he's made his mind up about West Coast, and the next you hear something about him made up his mind about Fremantle. I think it would make more sense if he's picked Fremantle. But if you had to make me guess, I'd probably say he's more likely to be at Fremantle than Melbourne. But again, we're just talking shit, right? See you, Tay. Good to hear from you, mate. I hope you're going well. Tim Taranto trade news. I saw that he was in a trade hypothetical with Dustin Martin, and I thought it was a really dumb hypothetical. But is there rumours... Is he out of contract? Let's have a look. I feel a little bit out of the loop. I'm not really surprised he wants out of GWS, to be honest. Warner's got... Oh, that would have been a very good goal. So Sam McClure is saying that Richmond is the favourite to land him. That makes sense. I think they need midfielders for sure. Could Dusty be part of the deal? Sure. But I think it was Dusty in a 3rd rounder for Taranto, and I just thought, You'd have to be pretty dumb to SGWS to do that, wouldn't you? Oh. So Buddy's going to line up for the 8th goal of the quarter. How much better are West Coast over North Melbourne? A fair bit better right now. But it's only been 4 weeks. So I'm not celebrating too hard. But I think there's a clear gap now. I think on current form, West Coast aren't the second worst team in the comp right now. But, it's just a snapshot in time. 4 weeks ago, they were the worst team, definitely. And I would say they were worse than North. But West Coast, I think, will be tricky to beat. I think we were tricky for Richmond to beat. No doubt about that. 7 goals, 8. So 15 scoring shots in a quarter is ridiculous. Far out. It is 50 plays 13 for those asking to score. Yeah, you could be right on that, Drews. Yeah, it'd be silly to just follow what the media is saying. I hope he stays in Melbourne, to be honest. Dusty is more likely to retire than request a trade, I feel. I simply can't envision him in new colours. It would be weird, wouldn't it? But he could get a serious pay packet, and it wouldn't be a case of dogging his club, because I think everyone would be happy about it. I think the way the game's going now is if veterans move on to a new club for a few years, a la Sam Mitchell, etc., and Luke Hodge, I think it's seen, looked upon a lot more favourably than it used to. Yeah, Rogue Ride, I think that's a good response. You appreciate Kane Cornes a bit more when you realise he's just trying to stir the pot. And that's his role, and that's how he stays relevant. That being said, he's still annoying. Still really annoying. I'm going to be back 1 sec. I've just left my hot pies on the counter, and I need to do something with them. Ah. And that was my microphone. Hey, buddy. Stupid microphone. It landed on my ankle really hard. I had to play that cool. I think I did pretty good. Nyasha says they've ruled themselves out of getting Dusty. Is that Sydney? Thoughts on Luke Jackson? My reluctance to get Luke Jackson is probably around cost. So it's like we have pick, let's call it 2 right now. If it's pick 2 for Luke Jackson, then definitely that makes sense. Like, it's still a young guy. He's 21, and we need a ruckman. But it's not going to cost just pick 2, I wouldn't have thought. In which case, it's not a great way to start a rebuild to sort of blow multiple picks. And I don't think that's going to be our style anyway. And we'd have to apply for an exemption to even trade that pick. You know, like we have to take a first round pick. So we'd have to apply to the AFL for an exemption to even trade it. Which is weird how you can just like flout rules in the AFL just by asking for an exemption across like multiple different things. So I wouldn't complain if it was like pick 2 and 20, but I wouldn't love it either. I'd be very happy if it was just pick 2. I think, yeah, then it's just like drafting Luke Jackson with pick 2. You can't complain about that at all. But is he Lockie Weller? Kai Phillips has dropped $3. Thank you so much, Kai. Very kind. He says the boys are getting up. We sure are, buddy. Thanks, mate. Dogs head of footy confirmed interest in Lob. Yeah. I mean, for Fremantle to get Jackson hypothetically, they would need to part ways with someone like a Lob. So if they manage like a late teens pick for Lob, then that gives them a bit more collateral to play with Jackson. Because I think 2 firsts, like pick 15 this year and pick 15 next year, is not satisfactory for Luke Jackson in a trade. I wouldn't have thought. Even out of contract, I just don't think that would get it done. So then you look at maybe, say if they have that extra pick 13, you could trade 13 and 17 for a top 10 pick, and then it's, you know, pick 8 and pick 15 for Jackson. There's a bit more about that deal. Dotero met with Liam Jones. I saw that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's a funny one now where, obviously the vaccine mandates are lifting, right? I don't know, have they formally lifted in the AFL? Or are they just expected to? I'd imagine they will. Jack Darling's probably feeling like he shouldn't have got vaccinated now. Just came back for 6 months and he was getting annihilated. Yeah, there you go. Would rely on vaccine mandate to be removed, which I think it will. It's been removed in my workplace. I've actually got several Dogs playing in the fantasy team as well. I've got Dunkley and Treloar. I haven't actually really noticed any of them. So Mills is on 45, Dunkley's on 9, Treloar's on 24, so he's actually going alright. And I've got Liberatore 20. So Mills with another 6-pointer. Fantasy-wise, not goal. Oof. Come on, Treloar, pick it up. Oh, no, it wasn't a disposal, damn it. Ruggs, you got English, Bond, Dunks, and McRae. Yeah, I've probably got more dogs than any other team. I used to have a lot of Carlton players. I had Hewitt, Cripps, Kennedy, and Cher at one point, which is too many from one team. Got to spread the risk a bit. Just making a couple of mods. I can't make too many people mods though because of what happened last time. So we'll probably just cap it there, guys. Hey Deeth. Good to have you, mate. Kay asked, do you think the Eagles are a chance this weekend? I think they're a small chance. But I haven't tipped us, to be honest. I just hope we, if we put up a good fight and get within 3 goals, I'll be pretty happy with that. Thank you, Naga. I still have Doc, Hewitt, and Cripps. Yes, I think I have Doherty and Hewitt and Cripps, actually. I think I have the same. Check. Doherty, Hewitt, Cripps. That's right. Oh, Stevens with a goal now. Maybe it will be 100 points. Thank you, Zachary. Appreciate it. G'day, Hamish. Dogs are very stinky, I agree. It has been a long time, Hamish. Hope you're going well. Now, Usher reckons Jackson Nelson will be traded. I reckon he will be delisted. I don't know if anyone would trade for him, to be honest. Can we get a shake? Oh, the mullet? I didn't know what you meant, actually. But... Thank you, Adith. Yes, that Druzy is very immature. I keep him grounded. He always wants to fart and do Emperor Palpatine quotes, but I always say no. Jackson Nelson isn't going to be played anymore. He got to game 100 and has been trapped in the waffle. Well, it's a good strategy in case he, marries a netballer and has an athlete child. Then we get a father-son. Yeah, Dunkley with another plus 6 points. Holding the ball and kick. Oh, they're calling it back. Oh, Bulldogs shot in the goal scare, certain goal. Thanks, J-Dodd. So I'm going to Europe, right? In 3 weeks. What do I do with the mullet? What do I do with the mullet? I was talking to my friend on Skype, and he lives in the UK, and he was saying he didn't really have any advice, but he thought there's a chance I don't get let into some clubs if I have this haircut in Europe, which I hadn't considered. Dogs get a go. I'm not ready to lose the mullet. At least, I want to grow a disgusting one. Like, argue it's already there, but I just want to commit. Thanks, Naga. Appreciate it. I'm very careful to enunciate your name. Eagles will be tempted to do a North and delist half the list, but should probably avoid that temptation. Yeah, so from what I can gather, it doesn't sound like it's a massively deep draft, right? And we don't have a third rounder, so we're going to have 3 picks in the top 25 and then pick 73. So if we cut more than 4 players, in theory, unless we trade creatively, we're going to be taking those 5th and 6th picks in the 4th round. So it's like, would you take another year of Shuey and Redden, or would you draft with pick 74 and pick 75? I reckon there's a chance they should just maybe take the 5 picks at a max, which means we'll stagger the culls. Because I don't think Shuey's quite ready to retire. Same with Redden. Certainly not Nick Nat. And even Hearn wants to play on, apparently. So, yeah, it's a tough decision. I'd say we cut 5 players. So I'd say Nelson is the most obvious on the main list. Kennedy will retire. Then we got to find 3 others. Witherden's a chance, to be honest. Thanks, Rogrite. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is the one time I'll have to have a filthy mullet, you know? Oh, good kick by Hunter. Thoughts on True's debut? Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see much of the game, to be honest. I just caught some highlights. It looked like a pretty run-of-the-mill performance, a fair few, like, handballs and stuff like that. He's an inside mid. He's going to take time. But I think they should keep him, because considering he's a rookie, so, like, if you cut him, then just pick from the rookie draft again. I think his upside suggests that, yeah, maybe one more year, re-rookie. Bailey Williams I would keep in the Usher, but you're right, he is out of contract and certainly could get the list. G'day, Slender Man. I'm good, mate. How are you? It has been a while. What are your thoughts on Jermaine Jones at halfback? I think I've liked it, to be honest. I think he's shown enough to get a main list spot, if we have the room for him. Just got to keep taking the game on, but I think his ball use is very good. Not really much of a defender, but if he can keep like adding something as a running rebounder, then he's got a spot there. And yes, I do think Yo should stay at halfback, Darth Jar Jar. Extends his career a bit if he plays at halfback. He's been so good as well. Like, he could be an All-Australian halfback if he plays a full season in that role, I reckon. He's already done it once. So the Dogs getting a bit of field territory here. They got the ball in the goal square. Yeah, I agree with that, Rogue, right? That's about right. Middle of the ladder. Just performed horribly this year. But we got an opportunity now to take pick 2 and land, you know, an elite talent, which we haven't done through the draft for a while. So, well, we don't know anything about Chessie yet. Hopefully he is that player. And somebody mentioned Hoff as well. I think, yeah, Hamish. Nah, I agree. Looks like a very, very good wingman. And so much upside, like, in terms of how much he's got to fill out still. Oh! Bulldogs player kicked it into the man on the mark when it was in theory a shot on goal. Where has Pat Naish been? Well, he's been in the waffle, to be honest. And he's been going okay, but he's just like... I think there's too much competition for spots, and he doesn't stand out enough. I think he's got too many obvious flaws. He plays well when the team's functioning well. So I think if he played in this team right now, he'd be going alright. Like the first 3 rounds of the year, we played okay. First 4 even. Like when we beat Collingwood, we didn't play well against Fremantle, but we played well against North and Gold Coast to some extent. And he looked alright. And I reckon if he played in this team, he'd go alright, but I don't know. Elijah Hewitt at pick 2. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, it'll probably become pick 3 after Ashcroft gets bidded on, but Hewitt's in the mix, I'd say. Hewitt or Wardlaw are probably my favourite too. And Philippou sounds good, but I haven't seen much of him. Waitman's got a chance here. Should kick it. That's not a good miss. It's got to be his bread and butter, that. Yeah, Hamish, that's the dream. We desperately lack outside run and speed, and Chesser and Hoff tick those boxes in theory. Hoff looks very good, and obviously Chess hasn't played yet, but I look like Ryder Henshey. That's flattering. He's a handsome young fella. Yeah, Geelong could be premiership favourites. They could be. It doesn't mean much right now, but yeah, you just beat Melbourne. Won, 6-7 in a row. Yeah, it's hard to argue against it. They haven't really faltered in the last 2 months. Where's Ashcroft going? Well, he hasn't nominated Brisbane yet. I think they expect he will. So he's got to decide, like, if he wants to enter the open draft, he's probably getting taken pick 1 to North. If it's a bid, then it might come later, because sometimes they just don't bid on pick 1. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Even when it's the best player. So it'll be Brisbane or North is my answer, Drews. And it wouldn't be later than pick 3, I'd say. Jamison is better than Bailey Williams. Yeah, Jamison's surprised me. He's actually all right. He's so raw, though. I think he's missed a lot of footy in his 2 years. He's playing younger than you'd want a young ruck to be playing, but he's competitive. He might not end up any good, but for a young, raw kid playing in the ruck with no support, he's been very impressive. I like Williams' attributes. I hope he clicks, but obviously, yeah, he hasn't had a great year. But he's also very young. Yeah, Petruccelli, I think, has quietly come on fairly well, to be honest. He's a lot more clinical than he used to be. I'm a fan. How long do you expect this rebuild to take? Hamish, I reckon it'll go like this. We'll finish out the year in second last. Next year, I reckon we'll resurge a little bit, and I don't necessarily think finals, but I think we'll be not that far off the mark. I think we'll be in the hunt. But I think we're going to have a real problem when Nick Nat retires, which will probably be 2 years away from now. So what we can do over the next 2 years is make sure we just hit the draft hard, so that when Nick Nat goes, we can at least say, okay, we've at least got like the next part of our list recruited, which at the moment we haven't. But I'd much rather be a competitive side that has a bit about them, like we've been in the last 3 weeks, and finish a bit higher than, resign to last or second last every year. So to answer your question, I think it's going to be a long transition, but I don't think it'll be painful. But it's hard to imagine us getting up to premiership quality anytime soon. We have to find our next Nat Nui level talent, our next Shuey, next Kennedy. Like we just need to recruit them. Yeah, Elijah Hewitt looks pretty good, and I think exactly the style of midfielder we'd love. It gets compared to a bit like Petrarca in terms of style. Obviously not quite as refined as Petrarca, who's a fucking gun, but Hewitt will get picked up by West Coast. I hope so, Fearless Nick. I'd be happy with Wardlaw too, or Philippou at this stage, but I would not be mad about Hewitt. He's got some nice attributes, I reckon. Waterman really improved the last few weeks. I think Waterman just looks better when the team's functioning better, and I think it's been a tough year to appraise like the forwards. Like Darling's got criticism, even Kennedy's got criticism, which I think is ridiculous. The forwards haven't had a fair crack at it this year, and then as soon as they do, Waterman looks better. That being said, he may be one that requests a trade. I don't think he's particularly happy, from what I've heard. But Collingwood will win the grand final in a few years. I think Collingwood could win the flag as early as next year. They have done it amazingly well to their credit. So the Dogs are 35 points down now. They're starting to impose their game a little bit more. Well done. So Waitman's going to have a shot in the pocket. Philippou. Gross. Yeah, Oscar Allen could be, a huge piece of the puzzle, but yeah, still need more. He's kicked it. So there's still half a sniff. It's just like, you're not sure if your mates dropped their guts, but you're like, fuck. There's something there. That's where the Dogs are right now. Rogue Rice says, I completely forgot Oscar Allen existed. Yeah. It's a frustrating thing because I think if you'd asked me at the start of the year who are the most like promising young guys that you think you'd love to see develop next year and take the next step, I would have said Oscar Allen, hasn't played a single game. Campbell Chesser, our top pick, didn't play a single game, got crunched as soon as he touched the ball for the first time in JLT. And another player I really like is Luke Edwards. And Luke Edwards is out for the year and barely played this year as well. So it's just been a frustrating year. We've got a bit though. I really like Hoff and Bazzo. We've seen some growth. Not as much as I'd like. But yeah, it's just been a fucking nightmare. Here we go. The Dogs are surging here. Liberatore out of the centre finds Shaki. Oh, wow. I didn't recognise Shaki at first. There's a lot more built than I remember. I hope you're right, Druzy. The trade down last year with Port looks a lot better now, eh? It's currently picked 25. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, that hurts. Why can't Clark get a game? I think he's been unlucky. Like, he did his AC joint pre-season, so missed the whole part of the season where we had no players. And he sort of recovered when we started to get midfielders back. Now, I prefer Clark to Connor West, but I think even West got pushed to the forward line when all the players came back. You're right, though. I'd like to see Clark more than I have. But obviously they feel there's a midfield mix issue. But he's the next cab off the rank if there's an injury. We just suddenly have coped better in terms of injuries in the midfield. Touch wood. What's Darling's trade value? That's a tough one because he's not playing very well. But again, I think he's got a bit of an excuse this year. It's a weird one where I think his value probably exceeds how good he's actually playing. I think given he's contracted, you might get like a desperate team who need a key forward in their premiership window who might be willing to offload a top 20 pick. And to be honest, it would cost probably, for West Coast to offload him, like probably pick 15 or better. But obviously, yeah, it's a different question as to whether we'd get it. Drews, you reckon West is better than Clark? I don't think I agree with that. I'm not a huge Connor West fan. Why is that, Drews? On Clark. Who would want Darling, to be honest? I reckon there's some upside there for a team that needs a key forward. You'd say maybe even Collingwood. If they feel like they're right on the precipice. That being said, I don't think it would happen. Jesse, how was COVID and how did you beat us? As in Essendon? We just played well. We just suddenly became good. Oh, decent anyway. Good by our standards. And Essendon are playing alright footy at the moment as well. It was actually a decent game. It is mango ice flavoured, by the way, for those asking. Yeah, I didn't think you'd like that, Rogue, right? I was just trying to think of a team in contention who would want a key forward. I think West slightly edges Clark. They both bring heaps of pressure. I don't know. I get good waffle player vibes from West. He does have some nice attributes, but he has some bad ones as well. Like, he just blazes away and cannot kick. He only had 7 touches last game. Good mark, Trelaw. Accuracy is the reason we won both games. Well, that's true. I mean, that's been a hallmark of our game for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I feel. Since 2020, we've been a very accurate team. We had to be, though. But we have an amazing forward line. I say what you want about the team in general, but the forward line ability to convert is insane. Papley's missed a very easy shot there. Who do I think is the best AFL YouTuber? I think it's definitely Caden. Caden's level this year has gone up to a crazy new high. He's killing it. I think it's always been Caden, to be honest. Darlington North. Yeah, I can't see North going for that. Kate agrees that West has more upside than Clark. I don't think either will be great players. But I think Clark's probably the one I feel a bit more comfortable in the side with. Got 3.5 in the first half remaining. Oh, the Dogs probably want 2 before halftime before this game's really back on. We could have beaten Richmond if we had a normal Eagles kicking game and Richmond had normal Tigers kicking game. Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Richmond are just damn good. They had answers for us. We had a pretty good purple patch in that third term, though. Which is just a huge improvement from, that, 9-game stretch where we just didn't even look. I don't think we dominated a period of play for like 8 games. So to dominate a quarter and a half against a very good team in Richmond. That was a poor kick and choice from Ugelhagen there. Yeah, fair summary there, Chris. I still don't think either are as good as Masto, though. And Hutchings was a very, very good tagger. So, but also I'd be surprised if they're at that level. But how old are Gaff and Sheed? Because they both seem kind of cooked. Well, Sheed's barely played. He's only played 1 game this year. Sheed's only 27. Gaff is 30. I suspect Gaff might be playing a bit injured, eh? He's been average, very average. There's a bit of a rumour that the Eagles are looking to get him back to Victoria. But who knows? Bont. Important goal. Captain's goal. Three in a row to the Dogs. I'd love one more at halftime. Gaff's 29, is he? Yeah, I was just thinking he turns 30 this year. And she turned 27. Hutchings is side bottom's dad. Yeah, true. That was a sick goal, actually. 24 points to margin. I do not have a girlfriend. Surprise, surprise. Oh, English with a bit of dash. Oh no, a couple of dogs spoil each other. Yeah, deep in the forward line. Wrapped up. West Coast seem pretty vanilla other than Ryan Rioli and Nat Nui. There's not a lot of really exciting players. Well, I would just argue that the players that have been exciting for us for a number of years have been so injured. The two that come to mind would be Yo and Shuey. Both very explosive, aggressive players with different attributes. I would argue they're not vanilla. But if we're talking about the team that's currently fronting up in their current condition, you're probably right. I mean, you'd probably say Petrocelli's not vanilla, but he just doesn't touch enough of the ball for it to matter. Trelaw behind. What if Gaff moved in 2019 to North? That was end of 18, wasn't it? We would have had like pick 19 that year. Fairly strong draft that year too. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we'd be a better team for it. I don't know, I like loyalty though. I don't necessarily wish it happened. And pick 19 is not like an amazingly good deal for the player that he was. He was just a free agent. The Dogs are absolutely all over him at the moment. Ooh, Garcia. Oh, Blakey. No, that is a good mullet and a good run. Very awkward run, though. A minutes ago, Sydney in their forward 50. So, fantasy-wise. McCartan's on 51. He's on my bench. Libba 42, Trelaw 50, Dunkley 38, Mills 66. That's nice. What is my net worth? God. I shudder to think. Well, Blakey's a chance from here. No, he's stabbed that a little. And it's going to... Well, it's going to stay in. Papley. Squares it. Nice. Oh, yes. Mills. So this would hurt. This would make it 29 points. Kelly was a beast against Richmond. Man, he was amazing. That would be one of his best games ever. He's been good this year. I don't tolerate Tim Kelly negativity. He's a very good player at the moment. Mills has kicked it. Plus 12. That's a deflating end of the quarter for the Dogs. Any Eagles in All-Australian form? Nah, definitely not. I mean, yeah, nah. No one's played enough games, I don't think, for a start. And then we have that whole 2-month period where no one really fired a shot. I think Kelly's been the best of the bunch. McGovern looked good at times, but he's injured so much as well. McGovern probably had the first month where he was All-Australian form. Yeah, that's what Niash is saying as well. Rogue Rider, I just read that and I was like, I had the same thought. I was like, 22 games? Like the home ground? Tim can just be quiet for so long when we need a big player to stand up. Yeah, you're right. But I've also seen him single-handedly lift the team on his back this year and we still get annihilated. As Warner had 9 inside 50s from 17 touches. That's very good. $2.99 from Kai Phillips again. Well, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Chad Warner, future All-Australian. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. He's still pretty young, hey? What draft was he? Like 2018? 2019 even? 2019, I reckon. I could be wrong. But good call. He's a very good player. Oh, I've never been a fan of Footy Classified Rogue Right. I don't rate any of those personalities. The only one I watch actually is On the Couch. Yeah, you're right. They do tend to get looked over. And because the Tim Kelly deal was so, like, entrenched in where we're at now as a list, that he cops a lot of criticism if he has a bad game. But he has been genuinely very good. Like, I think he's held up his end of the bargain, to be honest. Chess is more of a winger, Darth Jar Jar. Maybe they see long-term he could be a midfielder, but at the moment he's a wingman. Yeah, you're right, Fearless Nick. That's exactly what they do. Jin Hao Tan. I do not know Jin Hao Tan. Jin Hao? Google. A Singaporean YouTuber. New. I do not aware. Tim Kelly is overrated now. I don't know if he's overrated because I don't think there's that many people singing his praises anymore. I think he's a little underrated among Eagles fans. Do you think we'll lose by 60 plus again this season? That's a tough question. I'm going to look at our fixture. Maybe not. Oh, yes. Yeah, we got Geelong in the round. 23. Yep. Easy. Gold Coast and Metricon could also be ugly, I reckon. Jin Hao Tan. Oh, Bush is in the chat. Welcome, mate. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. Yeah, we got Geelong and Geelong. Oh, my God. It's not going to be good. Even when we're a good team, it's not going to be good. I'll be back, guys. I might just get another beer. And a tinkle. Talk amongst yourselves.
didn't come out there for the third quarter, as you just heard there from Lynchy. Anthony Scott has been subbed off and Robbie McCombie's on. He's going to have to play at that game. Now, for Sydney, they tell me that been subbed out with a thumb injury. Now, clearly they would have done almost anything to keep him out there against Tim English. That was not the case, though. They were not able to strap him up there. Tom Hickey was sick all of the week. There was no chance they could have played him. So, absolutely, Sam Reid, time to stand up.
Yes, as we said, there's plenty of twists and turns still in this. Let's go to the break. Round 17 is off. It started. It was a belter last night. Got an interesting one tonight.
Footy returns to the MCG tomorrow with the Pies looking to make it 7 straight victories against North Melbourne. The line's been marked at 57.5. But I want to turn my attention to 2 players in particular. With the latest feature from Sportsman.
The force is strong with you. Give Bush a mod. That's a good point. I will. I know it's him because of all the Palpatine quotes. I don't know if you remember this, but you probably don't. But podcast 66, we had Jack Avery, a young draftee prospect, come onto the pod, and we open up the podcast. And I'm like, "G'day guys, welcome back to True Footy podcast 66." And Bush just cuts over me and goes, "Execute podcast 66." Oh, classic. Worst possible time for a Palpatine reference. Muzzed. I don't know. I am undecided on both of those players. Yeah. A friend of a friend told me that Baker intends to come back to WA, but it's unclear whether that would be this year or not. He could just sign a 2-year deal. Same thing with Jackson. I think both players will end up in WA, but whether it's this year, I'm not too sure. But I think he's more likely Fremantle than West Coast, to be honest. Do you think of any of our current young players can be 200 plus gamers? I'll give you Oscar Allen. Obviously, he's barely young anymore. I'll say Hoff. I think Bazzo has a bit about him. And I'd like to think Luke Edwards gets there. Trying to think who else. It's probably about it at the moment. Obviously, Chester's a question mark. Baker's trade value is probably mid to late teens, pick 18, pick 17. I reckon that's about right for Baker. We have pick 20. So we probably have it all. Or we have the collateral to get it done, but yeah, that's only part of it. Oh, thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Nyasha says, you don't think he suits West Coast? Yeah. He'd certainly add something we don't have. Just like really quick. Quick and aggressive. Yeah, I could certainly see him coming here and flopping. Yeah, I agree, Darth Jar Jar. The ability to hit targets and then move the ball at pace is definitely improved. I think at the Geelong game I noticed, I felt the players were really challenging each other with a quick handball. Like, almost like saying, hey, I'm handballing this to you as you're running past, even if the player didn't seem to look like he wanted it. We just seem to insist on the running past and handball option. So that's something we haven't seen in like 2 years. Oh, I would love Georgiadis. I don't know how realistic that is, but I would go there, definitely. Top 5 rising star. That's a tough one. Dacos and Rochelle and Nick Martin come to mind. Who else is there? Let's see if I can get it up on here. It's hard to do it without looking. It's probably... Oh, Ginnivan's eligible. Lockie Jones, Ben Hobbs, Brendan Walker. Logan McDonald's very good. Wouldn't be surprised if he's the best player out of this group, to be honest. Newcomb. Newcomb could win it. Shelley. Bowie. Bowie's also a very good player. Ooh, Kai, thank you again for another $3. Who's better, Carlton or Sydney? I think Carlton should be better, but I think they let themselves down more often. But I think their best football is better. But it's pretty line ball. Do you think Hearn should continue playing? Oh, it's a tough one. We really don't need it, but he's certainly good enough to keep playing. So it is a tough one. I wouldn't complain horrendously if he played on, but I don't think we need it. I think we probably need the list spot. Is the stream dying? It's like really frozen for me. Let me know if it's being shit. Dacos, Newcomb, Martin, DeConning. Oh yeah, has DeConning been nominated? Thanks, Blue Flaggers. Catch you later, mate. Thanks for taking part. Bushby, can you tell us about the story of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? How are we going here, guys? It looks like it's dying for me. Lagging. Interesting.